Two of the most historical teams in college football will be playing in Austin, Texas this coming Saturday. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide at the Texas Longhorns. Before I go any farther, welcome to my channel, Not Bobby Durkins. If you're brand new here, and most likely you are, it's a brand new channel. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and pass it on to anyone you think would enjoy it. I do appreciate all the subscribers who's already really quickly helping me grow this thing. I really appreciate it. So let's dive right in. Let's dive right into the Texas-Alabama matchup. On paper, or really in your mind, if you're a college football fan, kind of like me, who's kept up with college football since I can remember, Alabama, Texas has this feel about it. I remember the Vince Young days with Texas. I remember them playing in the national championship against Alabama and Alabama beating them when Colt McCoy went down. Now, for everyone who's paying attention or maybe not paying attention, that's the only win that Alabama has in the series against the Longhorns. The Longhorns lead it, I think it's 4-1 right off the top of my head. But as times have definitely changed since then in college football, Alabama has been incredible. Of course, Texas has went down. We've seen them with losing Mac Brown after that. I think they fired him a few seasons after that. Brought in Charlie Strong. Didn't go well. Went with Tom Herman. Didn't go well. Now they're with Steve Sarkisian. Of course, Sark coached with Alabama. Saban said that, hey, look, you know, I trust this guy. And Sark came back and said, you know what, I owe my career being saved to Nick Saban. So there's a lot of respect there. There's definitely coaches on the Texas side who used to be with Alabama. So why does this game feel bigger than what it really is? Obviously, because they're two historic teams. The unfortunate part is if you go to your college lines and you check out the spread right now, Alabama is a 20-point favorite. Now, of course, we've seen this go terribly wrong with other teams. Some teams be a 20-point favorite and they don't deliver and they lose. Unfortunately, Alabama really doesn't have that reputation. Normally, if they're a 20-point favorite, they win by 27 or 30 or 40. This game is massive for Texas. That's an understatement. The only thing that Alabama has to lose here is lose this game because they have an incredible season ahead of them that I believe that they're definitely the favorite to win the SEC. Of course, most likely it'll be Bama and Georgia in the SEC championship yet again. They're most likely going to be in the college football playoff. They have a Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young, at the helm for them. Of course, Will Anderson, and we know defensive players rarely, if ever, win the Heisman Trophy. You'd have to go back to Charles Woodson winning it back in the late 90s to even talk about someone who played on the defensive side of the ball that won it and even came close to it. But this team is, even though they lost Mechie, they lost Jamison Williams, they lost some other players, Alabama is Alabama. This game is massive for Texas. If Texas could even play close in this game, it would let everybody know that, hey, they are getting better. And as time passes on, they're going to get better. So let's dive into let's do just a quick dive with the Texas Longhorns. Now, if you're new here, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to bring out some type of board behind me and break down the blocking schemes and so on. But I am going to go over the players and players of note, and I might miss a few here or there, but these are the players that really sticks out to me. Of course, Quinn Ewers. This guy was a top-rated quarterback coming out of high school. He initially signed with Ohio State. C.J. Stroud is being C.J. Stroud. And Quinn thought he was going to get to play. So what did he do? He transferred down to Texas. Texas says, thank you very much. We'll take him. He came out in his very first game. He played against, played against ULM. And, I mean, they're ULM. You torch them. It's kind of like Alabama played Utah State and beat their brains in. these are glorified practices. It's great for these guys to go out and feel a real game day, but it's against a really easy team, so they can go through their reps. They can get really gelled with their wide receivers. Their offensive line can get used to doing their thing, getting the play calls in and a live experience. That is really valuable. So I'm glad that they have at least one game going into this game. Probably would have been a little more interested to see 2 or 3 games pass before these two teams play, so they get a little more grass under their feet, so they come out and play a little better. But hey, it is what it is. At least you got one game in, and you're not having to start off with Alabama. So Quinn Ewers, huge name. A lot is expected out of him. And then, of course, Bijan Robinson. This kid, from what I can remember, this right off the top of my head, he was at Southern Cal, then he transferred over to Texas. He played at Texas last year. He had some solid numbers, 195 attempts, 1,127 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So he averaged almost 6 yards per carry. He definitely has the ability to run the ball. He is a threat. As long as you give him just a second, the guy's going to split. But if you're having poor offensive line play, that's going to be an issue. I do know that on the line, Kelvin Banks is a big deal. Junior Angela, forgive me for mispronouncing that. Jake Majors. These are some of the guys that a lot of people are focusing on the offensive line. As far as weapons goes, Jordan Whittingham and Xavier Worthy. These are 2 big play wide receivers. A lot of people are focusing on them for this game to be able to actually give you are someone to throw to and to actually pose a threat to Alabama, because, I mean, let's be honest, whether it's Alabama or anyone else, if you're not giving someone the ability to go out and catch the football, you're not giving them the ability to have a target to throw to, or if you're not a receiver who is not trustworthy to where, hey, we throw the ball up, we know you're going to go fight for it. If you're more of a lazy wide receiver, when you're playing someone like Alabama, it becomes almost impossible to win. So between Robinson at running back and between Worthy and Whittington lined up there, you have some choices. You're just going to have to execute and use that talent that you have. Now, on the defensive side, you only return 4 starters. One of your big losses last year was Josh Thompson. He's gone, and that's a big deal. At the same time, you have DeMarvion Overshawn. You have Deshaun Jameson. You have Keandre Coburn, Anthony Cook. You do have talent. You've recruited well. You've went to the portal. I look to see how they respond to Alabama's offense, because Alabama, no matter who they lose, they're using the portal. They used it very well. That's how they got Williams and a lot of great players. So Jahmyr Gibbs, we'll talk about him in just a second. So it's very much key for Alabama's offense to have to face some opposition. And if the defense is not giving them that opposition, you can throw the chance of winning out of the window. Let's dive over into the Alabama side. What's so interesting about Alabama is that it's just year after year after year of excellence. These guys are extremely tough to play, and it starts with Saban. Love him or hate him, the guy continues to do what has never been done. I've went back through the history books and looked at college football excellence, and this guy is sitting on top. It was that, as a Clemson fan, it has been an honor that we've been a thorn in his side through the past 6 or 7 years. Even the games we lost, the majority of them were really close. I mean, let's take the very first national championship game that we were in the playoff era. We had Deshaun Watson playing quarterback for us. We lost that ball game 45-40. And even though it was a loss, we come out of that loss going, man, we gave Bama fits. Of course, the next year, beat them for the national championship from Deshaun throwing to Hunter Renfrow on that play. So there's a lot of respect with Alabama because of what they've done. How many coaches have come and gone, yet they've still been an elite team and really the benchmark of college football. They return, of course, Bryce Young. This is no surprise to anyone. This guy is mobile. He's quick. He can throw the ball. He brings a lot of maturity to the team, brings a lot of leadership, and now returning, even though they lost the national championship, that really wasn't his fault. I mean, kudos to Georgia for doing what they did, but at the same time, they didn't have to play Jamison Williams, and they didn't have to play Mechie. So that definitely took away two major options, the two biggest wide receivers he had all year. But hey, that's football. Let's dive on into the running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, interesting story transferring out of Georgia Tech. When you think that someone would be playing at Georgia Tech, you would think, well, they'll transfer, somewhere else and maybe be used immediately. But going to Alabama, they have so much talent. Of course not. No, Jahmyr Gibbs is the flipping real deal, and he's proven himself. He'll be starting this Saturday in Austin, Texas. It's going to be a really interesting game. Of course, Javion Cohen and Emil Ekiyor. I think I said that wrong. If I did, yeah, good luck on that. Will be playing for them on the line. That's the return. They only return 5 offensive starters, but if they play at Bama, they're going to be incredibly talented. We got JoJo Earl, Ja'Cory Brooks, Jermaine Burton, all playing wideout for them. These kids will always be the names of next year's draft. So it's always interesting to see these kids and what they're going to do and how they're going to grow, and they'll be the big names of 5 weeks from now. So on the defensive side of the ball, they returned 7 defensive players. 6 of them were starters. DJ Dale, Byron Young, Will Anderson Jr., the guy I was talking about who's up for the Heisman Trophy, though we know he'll never even sniff it. That's just how the system is, but this guy is unbelievable. He's smaller than, say, like a Jadeveon Clowney or maybe a Myles Garrett, but he is really, really quick. He'll definitely, barring injury or something else, he'll definitely be playing on Sundays and be a top 5 pick in the first round of the draft. Henry To'oTo'o, the Tennessee transfer. Jordan Battle, this strong safety. This guy he's amazing. It's really good to have someone anchor down your secondary. He, along with DeMarco Helms, is doing a great job. And then one of the main contributors, Brian Branch, is back as well. And then I think the coolest name in college football right now, Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's a big deal. Of course, as I said, Alabama lost. They lost Evan Neal, Jamison Williams, John Mechie in the offseason, but of course returned Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Jordan Battle. Last week played Utah State, beat the crap out of them. You didn't expect anything less. Of course, oddly enough, after this Texas game, they'll actually play the team that Texas just beat the crap out of, University of Louisiana Monroe, and then they'll play Vanderbilt, and we know how that's going to go. So what are my keys for the game? First of all, here's the ABCs of football. So I'll start with Texas. Texas, this is the most emotional game that you have had in quite a long time. As far as outside of the Big 12, you'll be part of the SEC in a few years. This is a massive game for you. Don't let the emotion of the game get to you to where it becomes so big that you get caught up in the emotion, you get caught up in the sellout, you get caught up in the cameras, in the reporters in your face and want to talk about the importance of this game, and then how important Sark is, and then now you've got Quinn Ewers, and you've got this player driving a Lamborghini, and then suddenly Alabama's up 21-0, and all of that means nothing. You can't do that. You have to take care of the football. You have to play your assignments. Coaches, you have to be willing to change plays and change maybe the routine of the game and the process you were going through at a moment's notice going against Alabama. Yes, you need to be married to your process, but at the same time, you have to remember that your process is leading to the ultimate goal of winning. So if Alabama's shutting you down, you better have something in your back pocket to throw some wrinkles in there, because if not, 20 points will be a celebrated loss versus a 40 or 50 point, and then that ruins your season. So take care of the football. Don't allow the big stage to become too big for you. Go in there, play assignment football. If the ball is thrown near you, if you're a wide receiver, catch it. Fight for it. Heck, I would rather have an offensive pass interference for a receiver that's hungry versus a ball just hitting the ground because you were afraid of being called for a penalty, or maybe you were just downright being lazy. Alabama has played against some of the biggest teams in college football over the past 12 to 15 years and I think it's like 13 years of Saban's reign now. They're used to this. Texas, though you have a historic background, you're not used to this. So you can go in there and hook 'em horns and talk about the history of Texas. That means absolutely nothing this game. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect your history, but just like with Clemson, we've won national championships over the past few years, but those teams have moved on. Those players are in the NFL. Heck, we don't even have a lot of those same coaches. It's a new year, it's a new day, and you can talk about history all you want to, and you'll be nothing but history. You've got to go in and at least play close in this game. That's my keys to the game for Texas. You can't get behind the 8 ball, and the very last thing with Texas is if you take the lead on Alabama, and let's just say you have a 10-point lead on it. Let's just hang 10-point, maybe 7-point lead. And you keep a 7-point lead for the third quarter, late third quarter, early fourth quarter. But your offense is stalling. I guarantee you lose the ball game. Anytime that you have the lead on a team and you're frustrating them, especially if they're really good, if you don't put them away, they'll put you away later. You have to put them away. That is just, go back and look at any football game, no matter what league it's in, high school, college, NFL, shoot, pee-wee. You let someone hang around, you give them hope. And as you cannot convert and score, then you begin to feel worse about yourself, and guess what happens? You lose it. Alabama, I spent more time on Texas because Alabama, though you don't want to lose, and though Saban's going to talk about rat poisoning and how you should think about this, the truth is you're the team of the decade. You have, or the past 10 years at least, you have done what you've done. I'm not talking about historically in the entire past of Alabama. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about of the past 10 years, you've been so flippin' dominant, it's ridiculous. NFL player after NFL player, quarterback after quarterback. I mean, it's just a who's who of college football and NFL football. This is not a massive game. This game is not the same game for you that it is for Texas. The only trap there is that they could come out ready, that they could come out serious, they could come out more improved, and they could be up for the challenge. And maybe you're looking at this like, yeah, but they're Texas, and we play on big stages all the time. That's the only thing I think that could really catch you. And then losing players like Williams and Mechie, you always have to replace them. So, of course, there's going to be the new players who were maybe backups, or maybe they're brand new players out of the portal, or a new signee that's going to play major roles. Of course, there's going to be some rust there. Of course, there's going to be some learning curves. The big thing, of course, obviously take care of the football. That goes without mentioning. But don't go in there believing that you've already won the game. Go out, do exactly what you've been doing for the past 10 years. Trust your coach, and I guarantee you definitely win the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas played you very, very well, and it was a lot closer than what people think. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, give you even a score. I try not to do that too much, but I'm going to go out on a score. Alabama wins this ball game 31-10 in Austin. And yeah, that's what I think is what's going to happen. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Not Bobby Durkins. Check out the link below the description. You'll be able to see where you can support the channel. Also, pass this along, as I said, to anyone you think that would like it, and subscribe. I'm Brian Knight, and thank you for joining me on Not Bobby Durkins.